Hello and welcome to another edition of the People's Rose.
I don't like that.
I
That's
love
like
it.
way too aggressive. You sound like our son when he's trying to growl for nothing.
That's how he sounds when he's growling.
All right.
I got a lot of growl about this week. It's been a growling. I don't know. It was a nice segue. I tried. We had two finales this week.
Oh yeah, it's been a busy week with TV.
Yeah, and I loved it. I loved
Same.
it. I'm ready to get into it. But how's your week been?
Great. Actually, exhausting.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
good.
Yeah. We're
I
busy
worked
people.
almost every day, and then I took care of our sick son one day.
You're such a strong woman.
Oh,
I'm seriously.
on International Women's Day too.
Is that
Thank
today?
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had a good week. It's been a blessing. God is always good.
Amen.
And we had a great week of reality TV. This is a reality TV podcast. Oh, I'm Brooke. I'm Jared.
Whoa, you're Brooke.
Yeah.
I'm Brooke.
I'm Jared, and we are married. This is a reality TV podcast, or you guessed it. We're here to talk reality TV. We watch almost as many shows as possible. Every time we're like, oh, we watch all the reality TV shows. People are like, oh, so y'all watch Survivor? And we're like,
I know. That's the one. That's the one. And that one's been on probably the longest.
And it's so big, and it has such a big fandom.
Yeah.
But tell us why you don't watch Survivor.
Well, it's not gonna sound very nice,
Well,
but it's
not.
just they're so they're just dirty and look sick and weak, and I don't like that. It's like hard for me to watch.
Right. They're not dirty
They're
people.
struggling.
To be clear.
Well, I know. I'm just saying it's like you can see the struggle.
Yeah,
and it's hard.
It's not escapism for you. You're like, why would you want to be alive?
Yeah, it's just like stressful.
But we have watched a season of Survivor recently.
Yes,
it's just not on a regular
pandemic.
rotation. Yeah, that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
And I would say, like, we know the not scandals, but
no, we actually don't really. I think there's a lot going on in Survivor
you're right.
that we just have no clue of.
Okay,
we don't watch.
But yeah, that's true because on Traitors, which we'll get into, there's a whole rivalry between two of the people on Traitors because they came from Survivor. And we really need to get caught up on that. On the rivalry.
Right. We're gonna watch one of those YouTube compilation videos that get us into it. But that's what I was saying. We watched so much reality TV, and we had a lot of good ones this week. Like I said, we had the hometown dates for Joey's Bachelor season. We had the finale of the Traitors US on Peacock. Why I always say the Traitors US on Peacock.
And you know what I love is that we got a finale and a reunion back to back.
Right.
That was amazing.
We'll talk about that at the very end, and then in between those two shows, we also had the finale wedding episode of Love Is Blind on Netflix. Which is also kind of not even the most exciting episode sometimes.
Yeah.
Some in early seasons it was like, oh, what really want they? What's happening? Yeah. But I feel like we've reached a point where a lot of times we know or we feel we know going in.
Yeah.
So we're just
I feel very uncomfortable watching the weddings.
Yeah.
It's just like again, you can see it's like the agony when someone says no and
and the parents are involved.
Yeah.
It's always kind of like, let's just get to the reunion and hash out the drama.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, and because the reunion's next week, before we get to the wedding episode, let's go back and talk about Bachelor. I think those are three shows we're going to have time to talk about this week. And I think it's all we actually watched this week.
But
we watched Farmers Once a Wife, but we're just not caught up.
Yeah, I think with these finales, we'll be able to catch up on Farmer Once a Wife.
Exactly. Which I'm sure y'all are begging.
I know, right?
Where is the Farmer Wants a Wife content?
Yeah, where's the Farmer Wants a Wife crowd? Is what I want to know.
It's just
who else is out there watching Farmer Wants a Wife?
If you watch Farmer Wants a Wife and you comment, "I watch Farmer Wants a Wife" on the YouTube upload of this podcast, you'll get free People's Rose merch.
When merch drops, it's coming straight to you first.
Exactly. We'll give you a free T-shirt or whatever it is. Oh, okay. So let's get started with the hometown episode of The Bachelor. This is Joey's season of The Bachelor. He's made it to his final 4 women. He had a great final 6. He's got a great final 4. What do you think overall of this hometown episode, Brooke?
I thought the families were very kind, very respectful, respected as well, right? You could tell that they really respected their parents, their families. Yeah. A lot of emotions. I think everyone cried except maybe not Maria.
No, she cried. Everyone cried.
Okay, everyone cried. So yeah, what did you think?
I also thought it was a very good group of parents, a very good group of families. Just like you, I'm almost like parroting you. They had a good dynamic with the contestants. There wasn't like manufactured drama. We didn't have any fathers going over the top, but we also had fathers who were attentive. I felt, we didn't. It just was really good. I think. So let's go into it. We started the episode with Kelsey Anderson in New Orleans. They did their little tandem bike thing. She alluded to the butterflies with her mother.
Yeah, I think it was a very emotional for her being there. Yes, bringing him home without having her mother there.
Yeah, and she was just being reminded of her mom a lot. They did the beignets, which of course it's New Orleans. And of course they had to do the what is it called?
Second line. Classic.
I think they're legally not allowed to film a Bachelor episode in New Orleans and not have a second line.
Right.
And then we got to meet her family. What did you think of her family?
Well, she had a sister who was super sweet.
Incredibly.
Her dad, they look like they just have a great relationship and a really good bond.
He seemed great.
Which I remember that from her intro video too.
Yeah.
He was very nice, very supportive.
Yeah, it was
very
really
loving.
It was really sweet of him to include his wife by bringing out the picture book.
Yes.
I think that was a good way to get her in the episode.
Yes, very sweet.
And I noticed, I think, right off the bat that Joey was good with the families.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he was acting like he wasn't even scared.
No. Yeah, you're right. We got so many leads that they're either scared or they're tripping over their words.
Yeah.
Or they can't explain what it's like to date that many people, seriously.
Who was it? I can't remember which girl it was, but I remember one of them, it might have been Rachel, was super nervous. And he was like, it'll be okay. And I'm like, dang, for Joey to be the one, like, calming her down, I don't know. You just would think the roles would be reversed.
Yeah, Rachel was nervous. Yeah, Kelsey, it's been the episode. We watched the episode on Wednesday. It came out on Monday. Did we watch it Wednesday or Tuesday? No, Tuesday. We watched it Tuesday. And so it's been a little bit since we've seen it. So to be honest, I can't remember too much. Even though we took notes.
I mean, I will say this. I think Kelsey is my pick of the remaining three.
Yeah.
But I do think she on the show seems to be the lead. I don't want to say boring, but she's the most regular, the most normal,
maybe the most straightforward. I don't know if normal and regular. I just say the relationship she has with him is maybe the easiest.
Maybe, yeah, that's probably a better way to say that.
I wouldn't call all of those not normal.
No, I know all of those words were wrong. I take it back.
Well, not wrong. I was just...
but I just think maybe the easiest.
Yeah, they definitely.
They don't have drama, and everybody else does. You're right. That's not really Rachel.
No, Rachel doesn't really have drama, and Daisy and
Daisy
Maria
does
had
have drama. Daisy, yes.
Maria had drama. Daisy had tension. Yeah. So I would say, being that there wasn't too much excitement or drama around their date, it is a good sign that she's a front runner.
Oh, did you see that people were saying get her dad for the Golden Bachelor?
Yes.
He was a silver fox. He had all white hair and all white beard.
Yeah, he seemed like a respectable guy. Yeah. He seemed cool. He seemed really in tune to Kelsey's feelings, and they seemed like a good family. Kelsey's, I'll say, okay, see, this is why I wouldn't call her boring, because of the TikToks I have seen, Kelsey's is by far and away the funniest and most.
Oh, you said that, and I meant to go watch some.
Her TikToks are hilarious. It's naturally funny. It doesn't seem like she's a try hard or anything. Yeah. It just seems like she would be a very funny person to be around.
Yeah.
And some of the other TikToks, maybe we'll talk about their online presence as we go through them a little bit.
Yeah, because
that I've seen.
Someone else pointed out to me that of Daisy and Maria, Kelsey has like significantly less followers than Daisy and Maria. See that because, and I don't know how many Rachel has, but
it seems to me that, and I've only seen it like bits and pieces. Kelsey's just trying to have fun and be funny, maybe, and Maria is so clearly trying. I wouldn't say trying. I think Maria is more in the influencer sphere, or like Insta picture, whatever.
But I also think Maria is a very bold personality. Yeah. And it's kind of like you either really like her and want to follow her, or you don't.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know.
And then we'll talk about it. Okay, so I think that's it with Kelsey. Then we had Rachel. For whatever reason, I guess they couldn't afford to go all the way to Hawaii. So they met in the middle. Rancho, which apparently is Rancho
Cucamonga. I only can think of, when I hear that, I only think of Bring It On. Because they go to Rancho Cucamonga High.
Oh, wow. So this is the hometown of Bring It On High. This is very interesting. It was a parent looking at her family. We did some research. This isn't confirmed, and everyone was like, oh, why is everyone trying to detect of her ethnicity? I guess maybe I feel bad about that. But I think it was interesting. She brought Filipino culture from her heritage. Her dad appeared to have some African American culture, and then as well as Hawaiian culture. So we had a nice, I think, contrast to maybe some of like the other one was a Christmas tree farm. You know what I'm saying? So and that was a change of pace. I really liked it. I haven't interrogated this much, but have you seen online that apparently she got hate about something? Did you see that?
What? The pig?
No, I don't know. I was hoping you knew more about it. I was seeing a lot of people defending Rachel from racist comments.
Oh no!
People were making online, and I saw a lot about like, oh, you'll ask for diversity, but then when you get it, you're upset about it. And so I just was, I guess, having a good week, and I was like, I do not have any interest,
any energy to spend on
that. Right. I just didn't feel like there was nothing I could even think of that'd be controversial. So I was like, I was thinking maybe it would pop up again on my timeline, but I never saw it. But I just saw a lot of people being like, I love that this was so diverse, and it's a shame. I'm like, what happened?
Oh gosh, I didn't see anything about that.
Oh gosh, didn't do our research again.
I know, dang. But I thought it was a good like celebration.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure it was good. I thought from the who knows what the thing. I don't think it was anything wrong with what she did because we didn't see anything. I think it was just haters online.
I would not be surprised if people were hating for the roasted pig. Because some people don't think you should cook animals.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like that.
It seemed like...
It didn't say anything about vegetarians or animal cruelty. Okay. It all had to do with Bachelor diversity and stuff.
Okay, well, I'm not even going to lie. That pig looks really good.
Yeah, it was tasty.
That roasted pig. And they were like, okay, Joey, it's tradition. If a guy's interested in a girl, he has to eat the ear. And he just popped it in his mouth like it was no big deal. I was like, that's why people love Joey, because he just does stuff. Okay, he just goes with the flow.
He seems like a very intentional. He didn't have any issues. He lived in Hawaii, so maybe that was the first time he's eaten a pig ear to court a girl. But yeah. So he was very respectful. She taught him, I forgot the name of it, traditional greeting that she taught him how to do with her mom. But he did that. It was a hit. They loved her.
She was so impressed.
She came into it emotional and preparing him. And I think it was clear. We both commented that this was a family that valued respect.
Oh, yeah.
She wanted to make sure that he was respectful towards him. She told him what they preferred to be called. It was not Joe and Nance. It was Mr. and Mrs. whatever their names were. And she wanted to make sure they wanted to make sure she was respected and he respected them. What do you think of their family?
Yeah, I mean, same thoughts. The one thing I'm thinking is they were talking about her ex a lot and how hard and heartbroken she was after that. Did she say they did get engaged or they were going to get engaged?
Engaged. And he had a great relationship with the parents.
Yeah. And so her parents were like, we are just really protective of her because we just do not want that to happen again. Yeah. And Joey even asked her dad about a blessing, like blessing the his blessing to ask her. And he was like, I'm not going to give you that with other girls here, but she has my number. You can call me if it's time to get down on one knee. And I actually really liked that response.
Yeah, I thought it was a good response. It just seemed very, and I'm not I don't know their cultures fully, so this could be the opposite of traditional, but just in the sense, the broader scheme, they seem traditional. They seem, like I said, respectful, and like you said, wanted respect, and they also were all criers. I think every single family member cried. Rachel cried. Her sister cried.
Her sister cried. That would so be me and my sister.
The dad teared up a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
Got that. She said he was the most important man in her life, and that really impacted him. So that was really good to see. They seem like a really well-adjusted, loving family. I think she might have had the biggest group of people come and celebrate.
Yeah, she did.
That's a lot of people to fly out from Hawaii.
Well, yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, we don't really know where her siblings live.
But they don't live in Rancho Cucamonga, I don't think. They didn't make it seem like that.
Yeah, who knows?
So good for them showing up to support her on TV. It's always good when a family can all get together to make an appearance on a reality TV show. And any families that does that is really lovely. Appreciate it.
Agreed.
Then we had Daisy.
Oh, we didn't say. Rachel was like, I think I'm nervous, but I think I'm just going to go all out and let him know. And she did tell him she was falling in love with him.
Yeah.
And Kelsey did too, right?
Yeah, she did. It was very funny. I saw a Instagram post from, I think, 2 Black Girls, 1 Rose Instagram account. And it was like, okay, what in the world is the difference between I am falling for you and I'm falling in love with you?
This is only a Bachelor Nation thing. This is so not nobody else anywhere talks like that.
No, and if they do, it's because they watch The Bachelor. Yeah. And their partners are probably like, well, okay. You know what I mean? That's great.
Right.
I think it's just because in reality, it's hard to say after 3 weeks in the real world, hey, I'm in love with you.
Yeah, I would think so.
So the producers try their best to like stratify it and like, are you beginning to see yourself? Yeah. Because it goes, I can see myself falling in love with you. Yeah. I'm falling for you. I'm falling in love with you. I'm in love with you.
But even at the beginning of Daisy's Christmas tree date in her hometown, she said on camera, I am not in love with him yet.
Well, yeah, I think that's fine to say.
No, yeah, same, but I'm saying like she's been the only one who hasn't even really been like.
Well, none of them have said that they love him.
I know, but I just think she has been the most hesitant to say anything about it.
Yeah, she said definitely is very guarded. We're going into her hometowns last week, and this week she was more the same. Like, he seems like a great guy. I think she used seeing him with her family as an excuse, and it was more of I need to talk to my family so I can like maybe get my feelings straight. Like looking at the timeline of her hearing loss, her recovery, spending 6 weeks away from her family. This has been a rough. I don't want to say rough, but it's been a 2 years full of change for her.
It really has. It's like there's something about it that seems like maybe she's just overwhelmed. Yeah. Like overwhelmed with feelings of gratitude that she has the second chance at life and all these really great, amazing, awesome things are happening or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to know exactly what's going on because even what she was saying, I'm not entirely sure is the true case. But long story short, going into the hometowns, she is still looking for something with Joey. They did the entire date, the day date, and the in person.
The Christmas tree farm
was at the Christmas tree farm.
So cute. I thought that was so fun and cute. I loved that.
You know, like whatever. Like okay, Christmas
I loved
tree.
that. Like, okay, whatever. Have you even ever been to a Christmas tree farm?
I live in Houston, Texas, so no, I don't.
Me either. That's why it looks so.
Well, actually, I can't say that. I think I might have. I do vaguely remember maybe checking out. But it wasn't a farm. It was like they brought in a bunch of trees for the season. So where they're grown to be at the farm, which is what her family business is, right? you know, it was interesting. But they were like, here's the wishing tree and here's Santa Claus. I mean, it's March.
Okay,
like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, who cares?
Christmas in March, Christmas in July, Christmas is whenever you want
They
it.
probably filmed this closer to Christmas, so it made sense in the moment, and that's what the show is about, the moment. But for me, it was just like, okay.
Okay. Well.
I'd rather be at a luau right now.
Okay.
So, she brought her friends.
Yeah.
She rolls deep. She had her friends
Yeah.
there.
Would she have like 6 friends?
Yeah, I think 6 friends were there. And the entire time she's talking to, I can't even really replicate it how she was talking. She was like,
yeah, she was like hyperventilating.
Yeah,
I think she was just like, she's like, I'm so happy and joy, and I told him that this was the first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. We don't want to go too far. We do have to remember she has a hearing impediment, so I think that can affect how people speak a little bit.
I was not. I know that's what I didn't mean.
I don't think you were. I was just prefacing to say that I don't think you were thinking that.
No, that's not what I was saying.
I just said I wanted to make sure.
Okay.
I agree. So I think that plays a part, and she might not hear how strongly it sounded like she was like talking like she just ran
I just
10
took
miles.
it as she was just like so excited that she couldn't catch her breath.
Right.
Yeah.
So she was very, very excited. So that was our first clue that she actually was very grateful for the experience. But the words she was saying was like, even if this doesn't work out, Joey has been really, really impactful for me and has really blessed me.
Oh, and she was saying that this is the first guy she's dated since her cochlear implant.
Right.
And so for him to accept her and her not knowing what that would look like really, really meant a lot. And that was what she was always going to hold with her from this experience if it didn't work out.
Right. And so I don't want to say that you shouldn't date and marry the very first guy that you meet after a major life event. Mm-hmm. But I do, it's like, okay, you're going to marry the very first, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I could see that's why she maybe had some trepidation.
Yeah.
But her friends seemed cool. She seemed chill. We met her friends and family. They were very encouraging. They were very cool. Grandpa was like, she's not what he said. Oh, you weren't in trouble. You were blessed. She's a real blessing or something.
I don't remember, but her family was very, very kind about how special they think she is.
Yep. And then this is going to be a trend this episode. She expressed her reservations, and instead of being like Rachel's family and saying guard your heart a little bit so you can get heartbroken, this is one of the families that was like, go shoot your shot. Yeah, literally, they said shoot your shot.
They were
like, what is it gonna hurt? And to be open up and be vulnerable, at least you'll know fully, you know. Mm-hmm. So the dad and the mom were both like, I think you're a little nervous. Mm-hmm. You got to open up and be true to your feelings,
right?
Which shows me no one. I mean, in good familial relationships, that not all of them, but a lot of them, no one knows you better than your parents. Your like little emotions that you don't even know and hide.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True.
So if they both were reading her as, hey, you can open up a little more. You don't have to be scared. I trust their judgment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her mom was like, what's up? This isn't you. And Daisy's like,
that's right.
Yeah, I know. This isn't really me. So maybe it is just different. She's just having a lot of new thoughts and feelings and emotions post her illness and recovery.
Exactly. Yeah. So lo and behold, she emphatically at the end of the date says that she is falling and has been for a while now falling in love. And I'm not gonna lie to you, she was my early pick at the beginning of the season, but I looked at Joey's face, how he responded. I don't think he's picking her anymore. Yeah.
You know, when we were watching the episode, we were kind of saying it's almost like she's not into him. It's almost like she's just really grateful for the experience and that he accepted her, but she's not ready, or she's just not fully there with him.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And it's just like, maybe she's just not that into him.
Right. But then at that moment, she seemed very much like she was into him.
I
now,
don't
that
know.
could have been the high of your family all supporting you, but she seemed like she wanted to.
Yeah.
But his reaction wasn't it wasn't outright like, oh, no thanks. It was just kind of like, if I had to put a label to it, it was kind of like, oh man, kind of like that. Like,
oh no, like, oh no, I'm gonna break someone else's heart.
I'm gonna break her heart.
Oh gosh.
See, that's I think I talked about this last pod. He buys into it a little bit much. Yeah, I did just talk about it, and he's gung ho about people accepting the process that only breaks hearts.
Yeah.
It like literally only one person gets picked.
Yeah.
Unless you pull an Ari or forgot the other guy's name. And then you've broken everyone's heart.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, and then our final date at Niagara Falls. You know what that's from?
No.
Niagara
The
Falls.
Office.
And then
What is that?
I'll show you the clip.
Okay.
Okay, so we have in our notes unhinged. I think we're just talking about Maria in a general sense.
Yeah, it's like she's just seems a little bit unhinged. When she was like, Joey was like, so
you mean a good way, bad way?
No,
what do you mean?
In a bad way. I guess.
Interesting.
I think a better way to put it is more unstable.
Unstable. Okay. I want to make it clear this is Brooke's opinion speaking.
Well, Joey was like, okay, so what was going on last week? Like, you almost left.
Yeah.
And she was just like, yeah, I don't know what that was. And it's kind of like, oh,
maybe roller coaster.
I don't know if that's the right answer, because you're right, because then she did kind of talk through it and was like, well, I think I just got scared and I was just trying to protect myself and just kind of like go before I was let go kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say that Maria, listen, did I talk about this? I did. Yeah, we just did this. So I'm like, did we talking about this when we watched the show or when we were podcasting? Maria clearly has a strong fan base. We saw multiple TikToks because, spoiler alert, at this point, Maria is the one that went home this week of people shocked that it was her. And immediately people were like, Maria for Bachelor. And I think it's clear from at least people's response, it might not be true, that she is a type of girl that hasn't quite been on The Bachelor before. And a lot of different maybe people that normally relate to her. So she's got the juice right now. She's got a lot of heat. And her zany is what I would describe, maybe personality. Really shine through in his hometowns. They're in the Niagara Falls, Canada side, the beautiful side. They did the office date, like you said. What'd you say? You want to do that?
Yeah. Well, I really want to go to Niagara Falls, and I said, let's go and get on a boat and renew our vows like Jim and Pam.
Oh my gosh, definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, her family we found out was Greek. Her name is Maria Georges, so that, I mean, maybe we should have known that.
They were playing like mob boss music in the background the whole time.
I was a little confused by that because I think the mob is traditionally Italian, like at least in cultural imagination, but pop culture imagination. But like, her dad came out like in his interview, he was like, I need to know that he respects her. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. And I think the theme we saw from the family is all the family members are like, we've never, ever seen Maria even a little bit affectionate with the guy. She shows zero emotion towards men, which I think is true. I've seen that.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think?
Yeah, Joey, well, before they went, Joey's like, when's the last time you brought a guy home? And she was like, oh, surprise, I never have. And you could see in his face that he was like, oh.
He said it. He was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how has she made it to this stage in life and never got that close enough with the person?
Yeah, and I think that could have been part of it, but I think he also was like, oh gosh, so this means a lot that I'm going, and if I do end up dumping her, then that's gonna be even more so weight. Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. So they go, they meet. Everyone's like, wow, she's holding his hand. I've never seen that before. Wow. They watched the slideshow, that saw the cute moments.
Her dad was pretty tough.
No, I don't think so. You said that. He didn't seem so. He was a pushover. Immediately, he was like, "I want you in this family.
Okay, but
I'll accept you."
But he was trying to come out tough, don't you
so.
think?
No, I don't think so.
He was like, Joey's got to prove himself.
He said that to the camera,
and
but
then
not
Joey
to Joey.
said like one thing, and he was like, "All right, come on, join our family."
I think to the camera he was very, but I don't think to Joey he was strong. He came out tough at all. I think he was very civil, but established that he wanted respect. No, I
think he was very civil. I think you can be both things at the same time.
Well, but what I'm saying is, I don't think he came out. You said he was like trying to scare him or something. I didn't see that at all when I was watching.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Well, give me an example of what he said to Joey.
I don't remember word for word.
That's why I said it.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, him and Joey got along great. He said, "I give you my blessing." He said, "I want you to be part of the family." He said, "You'll be more than a son to me because I want you to love my daughter as much as I love her." He was very ready to have Joey be a part of the family, and Maria expressed her doubts, and he also encouraged her.
He did
to just be vulnerable.
He did. And he was like, you can, he was like, yeah, I'll give you my blessing. Yeah. He was like, as long as my daughter's happy, she chooses you too, then yeah.
And so Maria feels motivated. He said to her, "I've never seen you this happy, and I can see you doing it." And so I think maybe everyone watching at this point going, okay, Maria is going to say it, she's going to say, because she didn't say it last week. And they're building up to it. Joey, right now, after he's done the status check with all the women, and at this point of the night, they're all like, "Oh, Joey, I love you so much." So he's probably sitting on the bench like, "All right, let Maria, time for you to do it." And she was like, "I'm just so happy you were here." And he was like, "Oh."
What'd you say? I really appreciate you coming.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Yeah, I appreciate it. You're right. And so he was just like, "Oh, okay. Okay, we'll see about that." No. And I just think she couldn't do it. I don't think she could pull the trigger. I think it's hard for her to really be truly that emotionally vulnerable.
Oh, yeah. I think she definitely struggles with that.
Which is why I think if these people, her fans, do get her wish and we have a Maria Bachelorette, that would be unhinged. Because Maria already is a little out there, and then having, or a little niche, and then having her being unable to be emotionally vulnerable with 30 guys, but having to choose one. Yeah. We'd see some drama.
Yeah, for sure.
And I also would think it would be a totally different type of guy than has been on this show that would go after Maria. Don't you think?
I don't know, because Joey's kind of a regular guy, and he seems to really like her.
But I wouldn't know if I would describe Joey as a typical kind of guy they've had on the show. Joey is not like Zach. I don't think Zoe. I don't think Joey is like Matt. I don't think Joey is like Tyler Cameron or Peter Weber.
Who's Matt?
Matt James.
Oh.
I don't think he's like Colton. He's kind of just like, he's very northern. He's a tennis pro, for goodness sake. Okay, back to Maria. She doesn't say it. I think she immediately regrets it, don't you think?
For sure.
And she's like, "Oh, well, we all know what's coming at that point." Rose ceremony. Joey comes up. Maria, can I stay for a sec? Rachel is
angry.
She says, whatever you decide, I had to let you know that I am falling for you. Too little, too late.
Yeah.
She does not cry.
No.
I don't think anyone expected her to.
And you said it best when we were watching. You were like, yeah, she just completely shut that side of her brain off. That emotional, I really like this guy side off.
Her family said they had never seen her shown affection.
Yeah.
So this little thing she had with Joey where she was vulnerable with him was a blip in her life.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why she was smiling. She was like, "Oh, it's okay."
Yeah.
So, and I don't think that was wrong or anything. It's just who she is.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was The Bachelor this week. You got anything else?
No, I think that's it. We're down to 3. Scenes for what's to come look pretty intense. Like, what he get a note that said, like, we need to talk? Which honestly kind of makes me think, what if Maria comes back?
You said that, but what I think happens is Leslie tells Kelsey to guard your heart because you could not get picked, and Kelsey leaves.
Not a chance.
That's what I think.
Kelsey leaves?
That's the one. They set it up. They basically telegraphed it in the preview.
Well, they do show that some of the Golden Bachelorettes are coming.
If Maria came back, she has such a strong fan base that they would have at least, bare minimum, shown a clip to get the Maria fans to be like, I gotta tune in next week to see if she comes back.
Maybe so.
Okay. So, let's take a quick break and then we'll get back to the most popular reality TV. Well, I actually can't. I have to tell the truth. The greatest, I'll say that.
Okay.
Reality TV segment in podcast history.
Awesome.
1 second. And we're back and ready for the amazing segment, Brooke's Buzz. Brooke, do you have something for Brooke's Buzz for us this week?
Honestly, it was a slow week in the reality TV news world.
Mm-hmm.
I will say we're wrapping up Housewives of Miami. We're in the thick of the reunion right now.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. It was a good season. You know what? Adriana brings craziness to the reunions.
Yeah.
And you can tell that Andy gets so annoyed by her.
By Adriana?
Yes, and I have been wanting to talk to somebody about it, but I haven't had anybody who's
talk.
So, if you watched the reunion and you also caught on that Andy was annoyed with Adriana, let me know. Because I caught on to that, and I was just like, what is that? Now, I will say, last reunion, she did this thing where she wrote this letter. She's like, I got this letter from a fan. And it was from Marisol's liver. And it was like a letter about how she drinks so much her liver is like crying and upset with her.
Wait, which show is this again?
This is Real Housewives of Miami.
Okay.
And so then this year she brought some sort of something, and so she stands up to give it to Andy, and everyone's like, "Oh, here we go! Is it another letter from the liver?"
Right.
It's just I don't know. Her antics are she's just doing too much.
Okay.
So, yeah, that one's wrapping up. That one's good. And then Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is wrapping up with the reunion. Kyle is getting such heat for not giving all the details about her divorce with Mauricio. Well, excuse me. They are not divorced. They have just separated. They are, as far as the reunion goes, up to date, I'm not completely sure, but I think they're still living in the same household.
Okay.
So, interesting there. But yeah, she's taking a lot of heat for that. The very last scene of the show is them sitting down and talking to their kids and telling them that they were separating, and it was very sad.
Really?
It was very sad. All of it.
Well, that is sad.
Yeah, they have 4 daughters. The oldest.
How old? Oh, go ahead.
They're older. They're 30. They're all grown except for one of them. She's 15, I think.
And they were sad though.
They were so sad.
Yeah.
And the oldest one, he basically raised her, but she's not her biological father. But she was there too, and it just was hard. It really was tough to watch.
Right.
And then in her final interview, she was like, he just broke my trust, and I haven't been able to rebuild it back. There was a situation where he broke my trust.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. She's still not saying that there was an affair or anything. You know, I work with couples all the time who trust has been broken by many different things.
Yes.
So, who really knows what it is, but they're still going through it, clearly.
Right.
Let's see what else. Real Housewives of Potomac is in full swing. Oh, well, no, I already talked about Portia coming back to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much covers it for Housewives. 90 Day Fiance, I did catch a little bit of the reunion.
Yeah.
From the most current season, and that is kind of a trip. But yeah, that's pretty much much all I got.
Okay. It's great Brooks Buzz. It was a short Brooks Buzz.
It was short today.
But that just gives us more time to talk about the rest of the reality TV shows that we watched this week. Let's transition to Love is Blind. Mm-hmm. Love is Blind season 6, filmed in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. We had 5 couples get engaged. Mm-hmm. This start of this episode, we have 3 couples left. Mm-hmm. And it's the finale episode before the reunion. And they pick up right where they left off, which was a conversation with Jimmy and Chelsea. You saw this? Did you see I think it was a TikTok. The guy talked about the differences in screen time for all of the contestants or the couples. Jimmy and Chelsea got basically almost double the screen time of the second place in screen time couple, AD and Clay. They were basically.
AD and Clay got first?
No. Oh. AD and Clay got 59 minutes, and Jimmy and Chelsea had 110, so almost double.
Whoa!
Right, so they were definitely the main characters this season.
And you know what? I saw an interview from both of them where they were like, "There's so much film that you don't see." So that's kind of crazy to think they got the most screen time.
It was interesting because, it's interesting you hit them say that because we talked about the season in Oregon or the Pacific Northwest. Mm-hmm. I can't remember which city, where Chelsea and no. But Chelsea and her guy, the soccer player, the show made it seem like there was 0 chance they were getting engaged, but they were like, guys, I'm just shocked that's the footage.
Yeah, and he was at the reunion. He was like, that is all manipulated.
Yeah, that's what. So I wouldn't put it past the editors. But Jimmy and Chelsea, a lot of screen time this season. They're coming down to the nitty gritty of hey, are we gonna do this? He asked her hey, are we doing this?
Right.
I need to know where you at. And she turns that frown upside down and she's let's do it. And he's like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Which,
what?
Watching the show, we're like, good for you.
I mean, I don't think that they should have gotten married.
No.
But I'm surprised they didn't just do it at the altar. I mean, granted, that is a big thing. Your family's there. You are all done up better than you've ever been done up before. I mean, that is hard to do that and then walk away.
And then also, I think that's a part of it. And he said, listen, you betrayed my trust and that it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Which for me, I've said it online. I think I said it on the podcast. That's reason enough. Her doing what she did about talking about a off-camera conversation he did not want to talk about just to win argument on camera, to me would be like, this is enough. I've seen enough.
Yeah.
But it's hard to really go into this breakup because we're seeing everywhere on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and they're putting it out. They're still a couple.
Yeah, I mean, they're out in Florida right now, out and proud. And I'm just kind of like, wait, so are you not under contract obligations anymore? Do you just not care? I mean, maybe they don't care because they called it off before they went to the altar, which I thought was part of the contractual obligation.
They're on the reunion. They look like they're together at the reunion preview that we saw for the show. And then, like you said, they posted separately pictures in the same restaurant at the same time in Florida.
Right.
And then we've seen tons of videos and TikTok of them just together out and about, like you said, in Florida. Mm-hmm. Seemingly having a good time. Where interviewers have asked him about Jess, and he's been very dismissive. Jessica, right?
That's true.
He's been very dismissive. He said, they were like, did you need an EpiPen? He said, no, and I would not want to inflate that girl's ego anymore.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so he's like, done with her, with Chelsea. And I will say, we only saw the fights, basically, and we saw all the fights. Mm-hmm. But I can see maybe if they were to work it out, them working. Because I guess they're on the same vibe.
I mean, they did say several times they loved each other. They were the love of each other's lives.
But they're so crazy. Well, their relationship is so crazy, and they need to work on communication.
Yeah.
I said it last episode. Chelsea was emotionally manipulative. That needs to get fixed. I guess Jimmy needs to be understanding of if he loves Chelsea, wants to be her husband. He needs to be understanding of his wife. And if she has reservations about him being friends with girls, they need to find a way to work through that. Agreed. And maybe they have, and that's why they're dating. Maybe. Or maybe they're working through it.
Maybe so.
Or maybe they're not dating and it's a publicity
yeah, it could be.
To get us to keep watching.
It could be.
So that's what I was saying. Like, I wanted to get in here and just dissect the breakup, but as far as we know, they're still together, so we'll have to wait till the reunion, I guess.
But I'm sure they're just going to say the same things that they've already said. And Chelsea, in that interview I saw too, was like, there's so many things that were happening off camera as well that y'all did not see that were why I was going so hard on him. Like, and Jess said it too. Oh, well, he was going out a lot more than he showed. But I'm just like, I don't think that's true.
But
what do I know though?
His friend, he seems like a partier.
Oh yeah, and Jess was like, he says he lived in the South End, which everyone knows people who live in the South End just party all the time.
Yeah, he seems like a partier, but that's who he is. They gotta reconcile that or reckon with it. Who knows what I'm trying to say. So I guess that's until the reunion. Oh, one thing I did want to say, I saw a comment that said the producers are kind of trash for hyping up that moment where she's like, you hooked up with her.
Yeah, you were kind of put out by that.
Because that is just furthering the thing that he did not want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It made it seem all season like, oh, who did he cheat on her with? Well, no, he told her in confidence something about his past.
Yeah, that's true.
That they were exploitative of, and I don't like that. Even though, we're going to watch anyway. That's what they need to know. We're watching these shows. Right. You don't have to trick us into it. So that's them. Then we have Clay and AD, who really, this relationship it simultaneously deserves its own full pod. and also does not deserve to be talked about.
You're exactly right. There really is so much that could be broken down from it, but also, do we want to give him the time of day?
I'm debating how much I want to get into it. I feel like if I wind up and start a rant, I won't stop.
Go do it. The people want a rant, a Jarrett rant.
Yeah, right. So here's what I have to say. Like, I think I have to be careful about this. I would want a person I'm friend with, regardless of gender, anyone I'm related to like have a little more, I don't want to say respect for themselves, but more of the strength and courage to stand up and say, no, Clay, you can't treat me this way. He said, hey, I might cheat on you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He said, when he was describing why he was getting married, it was all about, or maybe because they didn't get married, spoiler, but he was like, oh, how much she's changed me and made me a better person. Mm-hmm. He was saying he was kind of blaming his propensity to maybe cheat in the future on his past. Mm-hmm. And actually seeing what his past, I actually can understand a little bit what you're saying. But then when we got to the actual ceremony, mm-hmm. I'm not the first person to say this. It's every TikTok's been about this. Your potential wife is walking up down the aisle, and you're like, okay, body, mm-hmm. like, you got that on, though. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And people have that dynamic, so that in and of itself isn't bad. But just like smiling in her face when you know you're gonna say no,
right?
You saw people saying that he mouthed no to her.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of want to go back and watch that and see if I see it.
I saw it.
I saw it on the TikTok, but I want to see it for myself in real time.
And then in the 11th hour, bringing up her financial
situation. Oh my God, yes. So after it, right, she's distraught, and then they do a little interview of him, and he's like, the finances are really big to me, and I don't really understand her finances. I don't really understand what she's got going on there. What? We have not heard about that one time this whole season. So why okay, him bringing it up, maybe he had brought it up in the season before, but why would the producers put that in there if that hasn't been anything that on the radar at all?
Yeah, he was not ready to be married. So I mean, actually, it was good that he didn't. But why take it that far?
I know. He just almost was playing a part.
It was like, it didn't feel like he was like, oh, I love you so much, and it was at this very moment, I just don't think I'm ready. I want to be with you. He knew that whole time, all day. He was like, I'm not doing this.
Well, and they had the conversation where she was like, listen, if you are going to break up with me at the altar, that's fine. I can handle it. But I have committed to this process, and so that's what it's going to be. If you don't go forward at the altar, then, I'm not interested in a long-term engagement. And at the altar, while he's breaking up with her, while he's telling her he can't marry her, he's like, but I know you're going to stick it out with me, and I know you're going to rock with me.
I'm rocking
and
with
I'm just
you.
like, no, sir. She told you that she would not be doing that, and you are not going to manipulate her into it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah. It's like, okay. It's so weird because in the real world, if someone is like, hey, I need to know if you're going to marry me for life, and you've only known them for 3 months, or not even 3 months, I think it's been 6 weeks or 9 weeks, or however long it's been, it is actually okay to go like, I'm not ready yet. But you're right. They committed to the timeline. Their family's there. You're telling her mom, oh, do I look like a husband and stuff like that. You've got her friends thinking, and you got her nieces, up there flower girling, thinking they're about to see her get married, and then you embarrass her like that. For me, that would be it. And that amongst him checking her in front of his mom, him not wanting to be around her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I were friends with AD, and I'm not. I would be like, please don't. Maybe try someone else.
Yeah.
But it's also been seen online that they're still together.
Oh my god!
So it's like
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're partying together.
AD, no.
I know. It's like all the comments are like, stand up, stand up.
Well, after they had that conversation, and he was just like, again, acting like they were just gonna go back home together. And you could tell that she was just like confused. And you could tell that she was blaming herself because she was like, what did I do? I never get picked. And
she was like, it'll never be enough, I guess is what she said.
It's not you.
Well,
it's
hold on. Yes, it is him. But at a certain point, I don't want to say it's not totally her. It's him, definitely. But at a certain point, you do need to say, maybe I need to choose people who will pick me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because she was saying, like, I do all these things to help these men be better men.
Right.
And then they just walk away.
Right.
And it's like, you need to find men that are already at your level, not men that you need to bring up to your level.
We're blessed to have the house that we live in. We're thankful that this house was one of the many options that we were looking at. I say options. We were looking at other houses, right? We don't have the wherewithal, the finances, and the time to get a fixer-upper. You know what I mean? AD is just time to maybe move on from fixer-uppers.
Yeah.
Get you somebody, and it might not be the thrill. You might not get the, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it will still be a thrill, just in a different, more stable way.
But it won't be the exact same one that you're used to, maybe. But I think it's time. And I would say a guy who tells you he's never seen any of his role models be faithful to women is a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
Because there are men who are faithful to their spouses.
Yeah.
There are.
We need to get into the dad of it all.
Right. Okay, this is actually, I want to hear your opinion.
That was the true storyline that we wanted to follow.
It's the best content they had in the season in a couple seasons.
First of all, the first time we see his dad is right before the wedding, and he comes in and he starts talking to him about his own accomplishments.
Yeah, about beating them in track. And people roasted that online. And it was weird, but I actually think it just kind of shows the dad's inability to be vulnerable and connect, because the only way he knew to say, "Hey, I'm proud of you. You're growing up. You're going to get married and be an adult." He's like, "Hey, you remember I used to always beat you in racing, and then you beat me that one time." He never even said, "This is like that moment."
Yeah,
I see. If he'd been like, I feel myself passing the baton on to you. Yeah, you're gonna run farther and faster than I ever have in life. And I'm going to be cheering you on, just like I was happy that you finally. That
would have been
day.
So much better.
He didn't say that, but I
you
can
think
only
that's
assume
what he was getting at.
He was trying to say, because it came out like, "You feel me, right, bruh? Yeah, man, you beat me that one time. That's what's up." And it's like, oh, okay, it was a little bit more. And Clay said that was the closest, the most. The deepest his dad has ever got with him. Yeah, which is like, whoa, right, whoa, and right, like. I realize everyone's parental relationships are different, but I do wish Clay and his father would connect on a deeper level, because it's really edifying to have that.
Sure. Yeah, I completely agree. But then we go to the end, right? So once Clay says no, and AD walks off and gives a hug to his mom, which I thought was very nice, and she did not have to do that.
And yeah, Clay's mom, I talked trash about her a little bit, but she's great. Continue.
Yeah, because then she goes to her son and she's like, "Let me be very clear. I don't want to get this wrong, because she said, 'Let me be very clear.' Say what she said, because you probably remember in more terms than I do, or better term than I do."
No, I actually don't, because I remember her saying something to the effect of, "You can't blame your past," or something on us. I can't remember. I don't actually remember exactly.
I'm pretty sure she said something to the extent of, "You should not get married if you're not ready."
Yeah.
And so, regardless of all of us being here, the fanfare, all of it, I am proud of you for recognizing that.
Right, which is good. I
think that's what she was saying. And then she brought it around, and it was like, "But do not let your dad's mistakes hold you back."
Exactly. And then we get to the real best part of the season. Every other part of the season, there's been ups and downs, drama, but I'm talking about real connection stuff that you watch reality TV for. Was a conversation that Clay's cheating father, I mean, that's why they were divorced, had with his ex-wife, Clay's mom. Yep. And it was real, because you got to really kind of see how he goes about it. He was very, "Oh, yeah, you know, I'm proud of him. He's growing, he's strong, making the right decision." And he just was kind of not really acknowledging the fact that your son just said no to someone he proposed to. And she was bringing him back down, because he would just kind of like, "Ah, yeah, And then we posted it on, we have a Tumblr and Twitter. We posted it. That's the best the one point of the season, when he goes, "Oh yeah, well, he's just gonna have to find somebody. He'll find someone like you." He's smiling at her, trying to charm her up a little bit. Clay said he was charming, charismatic. So find someone like you. And then her mom was like, "Yeah, but you found someone like me. You found me, and you didn't treat me right." Yep. And the dad was immediately overwhelmed with what I can only guess is maybe guilt, shame, regret. He looked down, he looked somber, looked like he was trying to keep himself from crying. And then she said, "Well, we won't talk about that." Then she walked away. And prior to that, they talked about, she kind of repeated that she had learned stuff about the divorce and her father's infidelity, her ex-husband's infidelities. From Clay, because Clay kept saying
through this process.
Yeah, through the process. Yeah. She said, we're divorced, I moved on, whatever. But now I've learned some things that have actually hurt me.
Yes, again.
Even though we're divorced.
Yeah.
And it's hurt Clay.
Yeah.
It's holding him back.
Yep.
We're talking about that Clay says that his dad would take him to these women he would cheat on his mom with. Which is going to be very, impactful to how Clay views men, how he views marriage, how he views trust and love. So in that regards, Clay saying the things he said about not being ready, you're like, well, you know what, actually, I can see that. But
so she's saying all this, and then he's essentially just like, "Well, if he finds someone like you, she'll stay regardless." And the mom was like, But she shouldn't. I shouldn't have.
Right.
Like, basically, like, you did not treat me right. I stayed in a horrible marriage.
Right.
And for all we know, she might have stayed for the kids, and then finding out that he was involving the kids.
Right. Mm-hmm.
She probably was horrified.
I'm sure. She and I am the last person who knows anything about this. But I can only assume that a lot of men who go through situations that Clay's mom went through don't get a chance on national TV to get to come up to like deal with their cheating spouse or ex-spouse or ex-partner in a way that is cathartic. And you can't, like, it's not like you can get that time back or unhurt the hurt you felt. But to have that moment, I'm sure, was, for a lot of people who have gone through infidelity and unfaithfulness, a moment of, I don't even know, just a moment of like, I feel that, you know what I mean? Yeah. I, thank God, have never gone through that, or have been even maybe that close to that, to my knowledge.
No, not even.
Well, I'm just talking about, relatives, friends.
Oh,
you, but your laugh, maybe. No. So that to me was like, this is why you watch a reality TV dating show, because between all the zany craziness, you'll have a real moment of true humanity. Mm-hmm. What am I talking about? But
I think there's several reasons why you watch reality TV, but that's definitely one of them.
Yeah, I would say. And so I said all that to say, I almost hope AD looks at Clay's mom as a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Clay's dad said, well, when the mom first pressed him, he was like, well, my dad wasn't there for me, and he didn't show me how to be a good man. And what does Clay do when it's time to get married or be, how responsible to your fiance? He's like, well, I haven't had any good role models. My dad didn't show me how to be a good man. So if AD is willing to stick it out through pitfalls, he might go through, and it's, everyone has their things. So I don't want to vilify him. Then that's the life she's choosing, and she should know that. Mm-hmm. But if she is looking at maybe Clay's mom, does she want to take the chance to be 20, 30 years down the line saying, you didn't treat me right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's all I got to say, AD, is like, when someone shows you who they are, you got to listen to them. Mm-hmm. All right. For the video segment of the podcast, we've got a couple minutes. We do not have a broadcast camera. So in the next minute and a half, what do we have to say about Johnny and Amy?
Go Johnny and Amy.
Beautiful.
I think support.
You liked her crown.
Oh, I loved her crown. Her dad was so sweet.
She was styled very well.
Her dress was beautiful.
Love her family. Her dad tearing up. I love that they both paid respect to the people who had gone on, like their family members who had passed.
I don't know if I said this, but Johnny's sisters, so fun and cute and just seemed like a good time.
Not just her sister, her brother raising his hand, imaginary glass, when they're doing the toast.
Yes.
And Johnny's brother with his arm around him. Yes. Their family's already jiving. Yes. They seem very loving and connecting.
Her dad saying he gained another son.
Yes, it's always beautiful to hear.
I really hope the best for them. I think they have a really solid foundation.
Yeah, so Johnny and Amy's relationship this season literally got the least amount of screen time.
Yeah.
It was probably
even compared to Ken and Brittany?
Yes. No, they got, I think, 2 minutes more than Ken.
What?
And Brittany. Right, and Ken and Brittany stopped showing up on the episodes like 3 episodes
That's
ago.
Shocking.
Right, and that's why I think, you kept saying, like, it almost, to me, it felt very forced, the contraceptive narrative. And I truly think it was almost like the producers like, hey, we know y'all in love with each other and we're rooting for y'all, but guys, we need something.
Why couldn't they just show us like the happy, like them proud and like being in love.
That's not how reality TV works.
Yeah, they did that. They've done that before.
Name one couple words, but all sunshine and rainbows the whole time.
Tiffany and the shoe designer.
No, they brought up finances.
Oh, Lauren and Cameron. Season 1.
It was Race, right?
Yeah, but I didn't think I thought they really only talked about that in the pods.
No, right.
Yeah, they did talk about it outside of it too.
Here's what it comes down to, though. I think Johnny and Amy are on path to be like Britt and Tiffany, to be like Lauren and Cameron, and be one of those exemplary couples where you're like, okay, this show works for some people. Mm-hmm. People are starting to forget about Brittany and Tiffany a little bit. Brittany and Tiffany. Brett and Tiffany a little bit. But they are up there with Lauren and Cameron for me. For
sure.
But I think in a strange way, Johnny and Amy could also go the way of, what was that first season couple that also got engaged and married and been married the whole time? I don't even know their names. But they're just as successful. They were just not the traditional love.
Yeah, you're right.
And then, like we brought them up already, Chelsea and I forgot his name.
We can't even remember his name.
But they also are married. Kwame. Yeah. And they're still together.
Yeah,
but true. They're kind of not. I don't know. I guess we've all just collectively decided to be like, yeah, but we're focused on Lauren and Cameron.
Yeah, you're right.
So, Johnny and Amy, but I think that's good for them. That they're not going to be dramatic. It's not going to be people going like, y'all should not have been together.
Same.
I mean, they're successful and they're also going to get the least amount of maybe airtime on this podcast because what else do we have to say, really?
Yeah, we love y'all. You're great. You're doing great.
And good for y'all. Now, let's This is a new segue for us. Brooke, if you would like to continue podcasting and talk about the Traitors, please throw your bag into the fire and we'll see if your fire turns green.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to keep going.
Okay.
It was the finale of the US second season of the Traitors. We love this show, I think, right?
Yeah, it was great.
We love this show. Let's just, I guess, start with, but the missions need help.
The missions need help. It's just they're too serious, but you can tell they're not serious. Right? Like, what did you say? You heard somewhere that the timer is not real?
Yeah, they said the timer's fake.
And then if you can...
They pretend to be timed competitions. They're not.
And then, because then you realize that there's no way. Because literally in every one, it comes down to, like, the final minute, and they always get it. So it's just like, why are we even pretending with the timers?
Right. And then they're playing for money, but I've heard there's rumors that there's already a set amount of prize money that is going to be on the table.
Sure.
So they're not going to like they're not going to have a season where they fail every mission and they're playing for like $20,000 at the end. You know
That's why the Big Brother competitions are so appealing because they're funny, they're fun, but sometimes they do require a little more skill.
Yeah.
But they're not like, oh, go jump off of this building, like the challenge. That to me is not fun. I want something that like every regular Joe Schmo can do.
Yeah, I would say that if you haven't watched Big Brother Canada, the Canadian version of Big Brother, those, and you can't actually if you live in the US, not legally, but those probably have the best challenges, I think, of reality TV show. They do, and then it's only been one season, but Reindeer Games of Big Brother had really good challenges.
Yeah, Reindeer Games was good.
The regular US Big Brother, you're right, are good, but sometimes I can be like, what is this? They've had fart competitions or whatever.
Oh no!
Now they weren't fart competitions, but if you know the show, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they do like a good what's it called, segment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the Traitors, that's what we would improve, but everything else we love. The Traitors, if this is somehow your first time interacting with us talking about the Traitors, is this show where they get the best reality TV. Well, they get some of the greatest reality TV, not just competitors, but just reality TV stars to all join together and compete on this show where they are playing for money. Who do we have this season? We had Phaedra. We had Dan from Big Brother. We had Janelle from Big Brother. We had Poverty and Sandra from Survivor. We had Drew Paul's what's his name? RuPaul's Drag Race contestants. We had politicians from the UK. We had boxers. We had we had Love Island.
Bachelor.
We had Bachelor. We had we had the challenge contestants.
Yeah.
Legends, not just contestants, like legends.
Yeah.
We had Shaws of Sunset. We had Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
If you watch reality TV, more than one show, one of your favorites was on one of these 2 seasons.
Well, yeah.
Like, truly, and not from all. They had Tamara from Real Housewives. They had Sheree from Real Housewives.
Yeah.
And
now
they had
that
Kate
I think about it,
Below Deck.
You know what I just thought about? It is a huge cast.
Yes.
So it kind of makes sense to me why the first season they did half celebs, well, reality TV celebs, and half regular people. Because they needed so many people.
Yeah, and while it could be said having regular people are interesting, what I like about our version is that we get to see people interact from shows that we never would see.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And this show kind of devolved into what they call the gamers.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the Bravo celebrities, the Bravo celebrities, but just like traditional slice of life, non-competitive reality television.
Right.
And they didn't understand. They weren't cutthroat. Things were more personal for them.
Things were more personal for them, but they were cutthroat.
Well, some of them, like we found out, like Peter Weber was a lead and a contestant on the Bachelor franchise. And if you are a fan of Peter Weber, go watch this show because he has proven to be one of
goat.
Yeah, like in competitive TV history, dude is smart.
On the reunion, they said
he could be a cult leader.
Who surprised y'all the most? And they said Peter, and I think we would both agree.
Yeah, I was shocked. He was saying stuff in the reunion of strategy that he didn't get to use.
Yeah,
and I was like, I consider myself like
a gamer
to be a gamer, even though I've never participated.
Yeah,
but it's like, whoa, this guy was thinking.
Right.
This guy needs to play. He's very charismatic.
I think he needs to go on Celebrity Big Brother.
He does, but his downfall is that he needs to check his ego.
Because
he was
so good. He cannot be having meetings and telling people, give us a minute.
He was so good, and when plans would work out for him, he was not humble. He was not understanding. He'd just be like, yeah, I'm going to win it. We're going to get the traitors out, and y'all should just do what I say.
Yeah.
And people who were even like, didn't even think he was a traitor were just like, let's just get him out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had a group of people they called Peter Pals or whatever.
Peter, and now he's selling shirts, of course.
Right.
I should say this. Should we just get into the reunion, or do we want to talk about what happened at the end?
Let's talk about what happened at the end, really rapid fire.
Because honestly, I was surprised by the ending.
Yeah, rapid fire. Kate Galvan is now Galvan? Is that her name? What?
Chastain.
Who's Kate Galvan? I think that's a former contestant on The Bachelor.
Oh.
Kate Chastain is the last remaining traitor. She was very upset with her traitor that just got banished. Yeah. Phaedra from Real Housewives.
Which they kind of addressed on the reunion, but we'll get into that.
So that keyed Sandra and Trishelle and a couple people in that she was probably the last remaining traitor. So everyone's kind of like, well, let's get her out and win. Hail Mary after the mission, which is not important enough to talk about. She somehow, some way, convinces CT. It was very convincing.
Yeah. And he even said it. He was like, she's really good.
Yeah, that she was not the traitor, and it was Sandra.
Yeah.
And then she goes to Sandra and tells Sandra, like, hey, CT's gunning for you. Which, of course, makes Sandra turn on CT.
Yeah, because CT and Sandra were like, let's get out Kate.
Right, so she needed to convince one of them. She convinced both of them to doubt each other.
Yep.
Which led to them a round table where now all of a sudden Sandra is on the defensive. And she got very defensive.
Which she hadn't done she was never accused the whole season.
Right, and she was very calm, cool, collected.
Yeah.
But the second she was accused, Kate is dressed like a traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they voted her out.
Yeah.
Which that made Trishelle go, CT, what are you doing? We're supposed to get out Kate. So they go to the final. It's not even a round table. They're just standing around the fire.
It's so dramatic.
Yeah, long story short. The first round, I think everyone's like, Kate's the traitor. It's obvious now. Since Sandra wasn't faithful.
Because it's Sandra, CT, MJ, and Kate are the last four standing.
And MJ is one of those contestants. You're like, oh, yeah, that's right. MJ is on the show.
Yes.
Because she has.
Yes.
Now, she actually has been very funny by, but
she's hilarious.
It's been funny because of how almost like MJ she was. You know what I mean?
She just wasn't. Yeah.
Her and Sheree sometimes are like, do they know the rules? Like,
yeah.
So first round, Kate out, and she was happy to be out. She didn't want them to not win. She didn't want the faithfuls to lose.
She literally was like, I like all the people that are left. She's like, if I had advice for anybody coming on here as a traitor, come on with people you don't like.
Right. So she's gone. She did great. She had that last second Hail Mary, and so I'm glad she played, and it was cool. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, oh, okay, faithfuls win, right? Mm-hmm. No. Out of nowhere, CT and Trishelle both want to keep going and vote someone else. So
that's the whole thing, is you can keep going until you believe that all of the traitors are out or there's only 2 people left. Right. So so once Kate left, there were 3 left, MJ, CT, and Trishelle. Yeah. And they got to decide whether or not they wanted to keep going, which meant one more person out. And CT and Trishelle both said they wanted to keep going, and MJ said she wanted to stop, and she was like shocked.
She was shocked.
And quite frankly, I was kind of shocked too. It was a
great reality TV moment. I thought we thought maybe they were teaming up on MJ.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wow, maybe this is... Because also, for those who don't watch the challenge or the show, CT and Trishelle kind of came in the show hating each other, and then during the show were up and down rocky relationship.
I mean, they have years, in like 20 years, they said,
of tension, and yeah.
But I don't know the full story. Mm-hmm. That's another one we should have looked up. But yeah, Trishelle all season, and now looking back, it makes sense why they drove that storyline so hard.
Right.
But all season, she was like, do I trust CT? Do I want to trust CT? Are we a team? Are we not a team? Right. Going back and forth and back and forth.
Right.
And they finally were like, okay, we are going to the end together.
Right.
Like, I'm not getting you out. You're not getting me out. So then when she's like, I want to vote again, she votes CT out.
Right. Well, she votes to vote CT
She votes to vote CT out. CT votes to vote MJ out, and MJ votes to vote Trishelle out.
Right, so it's a deadlock, so they have to vote again.
So they have to
discuss
it.
Right, you're right. CT said, I would only trust and want to win with Trishelle.
Yeah.
MJ is in shock mode. It's like, what are y'all doing, guys?
She's
We're
like,
all faithfuls.
Excuse me? Y'all know I'm a faithful.
Right, and then Trishelle is just not trusting a CT because he changed up. And
she's like, I just really don't know if I can trust you because you changed up and got Sandra out. Like, what was that about?
So he's kind of almost giving her the eyes, like, what are you doing? Like, this just, I'm not. You're like, let's do it. MJ made a mistake because she keeps her vote to vote Miss Trishelle out.
Yes.
She should have switched to CT.
Why did she do that?
Had she done that, it would have been another deadlock. They would have ended the game. She would have got some money too. But inexplicably, she stays on Trishelle. Trishelle votes for MJ in the second round. CT votes for MJ again in the second round.
Yep.
She's evicted. She's the faithful. They knew that. 2 people left. Our winners are CT and Trishelle.
And they were both faithfuls.
Both faithfuls. They jump up and down.
They were elated. It was adorable.
It was Travis, Kelsey, and Taylor Swift-esque.
Yeah.
She gives me Taylor Swift vibes. That's maybe why I don't like her too much. But I like CT though. He seems chill. I have not seen the challenge. Maybe if I watch all his seasons of the challenge, I would not like him.
He is a likable villain.
Yeah, but he seemed chill. He said he was a different person, so
he did seem a little more chill.
Yeah, so it was a great end of the season. Let's get to the reunion.
The reunion was so good.
Who hosted it?
It was hosted by Andy Cohen, so it was just amazing. It was giving everything it needed to give.
One of the pluses of being on Peacock is that stuff like that happens.
Yeah. So Phaedra was like the center point of the reunion.
Right.
Everyone was really just kind of giving their thoughts on her that all boiled down to we were scared of her because she was so good at this game.
Right.
So...
Well, she was so well liked.
And, she was so well liked, but also at the round table, she would eat you alive.
Yeah.
So, when Peter went home, there was like this iconic moment between them where she was like, "This is not The Bachelor, so I do not have to kiss your ass like those girls do." Didn't she say that?
Right.
Yeah. And everyone was kind of like, "Whoa!" And so Peter is like, "Hey, like, okay, Phaedra, I just wanted to tell you something. Just wanted to, ask you one thing," and then pulls out a rose. Will you accept this rose?
Yeah,
it was so cute. So a good way to clear the air. Also, Phaedra, shout out to Phaedra, said she's a member of Bachelor Nation, and Peter was who she was most excited to meet.
Yeah. Phaedra seemed to be on good terms with everyone except Dan. She said, "I still hate him."
Yeah, that was such a bummer.
A bunch of swear words, said he was pathetic, said he sucked.
So Dan was saying, the reason I did that, the reason I turned on you is because I knew I could not win if you were still here. And Phaedra was just like, that's a terrible reason. She was like, that is not how I wanted to play this game or was gonna play this game. And Dan was just kind of like, well, I'm a gamer, so like that's how I play these games.
See, it was a weird conversation between them because he said, "I wanted to get you out from kind of the beginning once I saw how well insulated you were," and she's like, "You said you wanted to get me out," and he's like, "Yeah." That was the plan. He's like, no, there's no yeah. There is no yeah. You said you wanted to get me out. And he's like, what are we missing here? Yeah, I did say that. Here's what it boils down to. Because Sandra also was like, traitors, faithful, who cares? I wanted to be on everyone's good side and get to the end.
Yeah.
So we had to get people out.
Yeah.
Some people, I think it came down to gamers. That Peter, he played a gamer game, even not being a gamer. Anyways, long story short. Some people were playing with strategic. Some people were playing like, oh, let's just keep the people we like in.
That's what Phaedra said. They were like, Phaedra, what was your strategy? And she's like, I just kept the people around that I liked. Right. And it was just kind of like, Phaedra, what? Right. And so I can respect Dan doing that as a game move, but also at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, why couldn't y'all just work together and y'all two be at the end?
Yeah, I think it was because Dan, I don't think, respected her. I think Dan,
he definitely underestimated her, and he said that.
And all the non-gamers, he underestimated.
Yeah, he did say that. They kind of destroyed Dan at the reunion. Yeah, they kind of were like, you thought you were gonna come in here and rule the show, and you blew it.
He played a horrible game, and it's disappointing. He said online that this is the very last time he'll ever go on TV. Which I don't think his heart was in it as much as they were. When he first played those first two games of Big Brother, he loved the show. He was not the famous Dan Giesling that he is now. Yeah. He, I presumably needed the money and was playing with hearts out. Now he's a YouTube and Twitch streamer. He's got a good streamer revenue.
Oh, I was about to ask what he did.
Yeah, he makes good money. He wanted to play just for fun. I don't think he was playing with that same desperation and hunger. So whatever, he didn't play a good game. But also, it wasn't just Phaedra who was salty. MJ was very upset.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Trishelle. In fact, Trishelle was like, "Why are you still angry at me?" And I was like, "Well, Trishelle, she is allowed to be a little upset that y'all knew she was a faithful and got her out."
Yeah.
But I think here's a.
But then MJ was like, "I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at CT." And it's like, what? Then why didn't you vote him out?
I think it's because she's very naive and still doesn't really understand what happened.
Maybe.
But I guess I could see what she's saying because CT was just like, I'm voting MJ out regardless because the only person I trust in this house is Trishelle.
Yeah.
So which leads me to my next point. Faithfuls, and it almost kind of crystallized, but it didn't really till the end. We've always thought it was Faithful versus Traitors. It could start being, you could still get those alliances like you get in Big Brother and Survivor and other TV shows. Because it might turn into Traitors versus Faithfuls versus Faithfuls. Because just because you and I are both Faithfuls, if I have an alliance with my two brothers and you have an alliance with your two sisters, we might be like, well, let's get out the Traitors and then let's get out you and your sister so me and my brothers get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a whole new dynamic of the show that we're just peeking into in the US version. I'm sure this has happened. I'm just because, that's how games work, that it's come up before in those other country seasons. But it's like, it's stuff like that. They said they've been approved or greenlit, or however you want to say, the third season of the show. It's stuff like that that's like, oh, I want to watch another season.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
I bet you people are going to come in here and try to do alliances. Like, stronger than they even were this season.
For sure.
So, which would actually make the game easier for the traders. So if I'm a trader, I'm saying, hey, Brooke, you start an alliance and make it strong with that side. Yeah. I start an alliance, make it strong with this side. And we just make sure that these people feel they take each other out and never even get to us.
Yep.
A lot happened in the reunion. It was an hour-long reunion.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun stuff. Go ahead. What you
Andy
got?
asked Larson Marcus what was up with them. He was like, spill the tea. We saw that you deleted all the pictures, but then y'all were out together and you were wearing a ring. And she was like, they both are like, yeah, we just had a little, we had some problems, but we're doing better. We're doing much better. So, okay, all right, y'all do your thing, whatever.
Yeah, they were. I think in general seemed to me to be a little much. Yeah. I can see them. Whatever.
Another thing that was funny was that they were saying people were saying Phaedra and CT had a crush on each other.
Well, I think she had a crush on him. I don't think he had a crush on her.
They were kind of just like, playing up. But she has a boyfriend. She's on. They might have broken up.
I think it was because of one moment she was always trying to say he was cute and stuff. She said he had a crush on him, and online people were making a bunch of memes shipping them. Yeah. So I think that was part of it. What they were just addressing. Peter and Ekansu also were very like mums the word.
Yeah, they were like,
they were just as
they were like friends. Anybody catch your eye, Peter? Anybody catch your eye, Ekansu? And they were just like, oh, we're just really good friends.
Yeah, which was weird. Like you took a picture of his mom. Like, anyways. And then the boxer. Why can I never remember his name? Oh my gosh,
I don't know.
Deontay Wilder was like talked about emotional emotional childhood trauma. Yeah, that he like reckoned with on the show. Yeah, I think maybe it was the deceit and the lying that got to him, and the false accusations, and he went home because he emotionally couldn't handle it. But it seemed like Phaedra really helped him work through it.
He did. He said Phaedra really helped him through that, and I just think that's really awesome.
I knew very little about him outside of his boxing matches that I'd seen clips of in the past. But he seemed like a good guy. Yeah. Kevin was on the show. Who cares? Poverty did the poverty face. She did her thing.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say too. Poverty and Sandra they were like, "What'd y'all think when you saw that was who was on the show?" And they both were like, "I was so mad." No. And that is the thing. That's something that I'm sad we missed out on their rivalry.
Yeah. And Sandra was so mad that she did not get recruited to be a traitor.
Oh
she
my
said
gosh.
It over and over again.
Multiple times. She said, "Why didn't you recruit me?"
She wanted Phaedra. I think she knew Phaedra was a traitor and was praying that she would get recruited.
I think so too.
Phaedra should not have picked Kate.
No.
But Poverty, I actually felt like Poverty. I know she's like a Survivor competitive star, and like she's like made a legacy of doing that. But she seemed very glam. I was like, Poverty could be a housewife down the road somewhere. She felt, to me, I saw the pettiness. I could
maybe see that. Yeah, I can agree.
I think if they did like a Real Housewives, whatever, wherever she lives, she can participate. And I'm trying to think of who else was on the reunion that made a couple good stuff. I can't. That's the gist of it that I can remember.
Yeah, I think those were the highlights, pretty much.
Johnny Bananas was a little salty,
but very salty.
I saw on House of Villains. I was like, this guy is not really a villain, is he? But then I saw him how he was acting. I was like, oh yeah, this guy sucks. That's it, man. It's been another action-packed week. This actually might be one of our longest podcasts ever.
But what was it called?
I think we had a Love is Blind recap episode of season 5 that was like almost 2 hours or something. But if you have stuck it out, or you listen to the sections you like to listen to, if you watched us on YouTube or wherever, however you're interacting with us, we appreciate it a lot. We just thank you for staying with us as we stay on the hunt for the reality shows that we like.
Yep.
Just consider this the house of your reality TV takes. And you got any final words, Brooke?
That's all. That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. And so, with that, we pray you have a good week. We pray the Lord blesses you this week. And wow, hopeful for another good week of reality TV so we can talk about it with you next week.
Yep.
All right. So with that said, bye. Oh, whoa. Some of you might be like, hey, how do I follow you? Your podcast is available anywhere. Like I said, we're on YouTube. You can listen to the podcast on YouTube. You can watch the Brooks Buzz segments on YouTube. You can follow us on social media at The People's Rose. Go to our website, peoplesrose.com, to just see all the ways you can interact with us. And with that said, bye.
Bye.
Bye.